Hi everyone, thanks for watching. My name's Alex, and in this video, it's a two-part series. Part one will be the build of the base of this freestanding barbecue island. This island's going to have a series of cabinets, drawers, a refrigerator, a drawer with a cutting board, under cabinet LED lighting, pour-in-place countertop, a shelf with a power outlet, and it does use inline gas. So one really great idea I had was to lay down all the appliances flat, face down on the ground, and then put the metal studs against it to get the exact measurements, and then pull the appliances out after I screwed it together, and you've got your first wall of the island set to go. After that, it's kind of just wash, rinse, repeat. I used about 3 times the amount of original length that I bought for steel because I had to do like a bunch of extra supports, because there's going to be a ton of concrete on top. You also want to make sure you wear gloves and a long sleeve anytime you're doing it, using the chop saw with the wood blade for cutting the saloon, because it produces a lot of metal shards that kind of go into your hands and your arm. It was definitely a learning process. I had to redo a lot of these cross braces to support some of the beams and shelves. So once you kind of get the hang of it, it's not too bad. You kind of know how much to cut to insert the studs into each other, because they're not regular wood studs, they're kind of hollow, so you have to cut them in certain directions. I also picked up some 1-inch flooring pieces to elevate the entire island off the ground so it gets some air, and then the water can kind of leave underneath the island if the rain ever comes in. I kind of made a mistake, not mistake, but a poor way of cutting the holes for the cabinets. I should have just put the entire board on the frame and then used a router to route out along the beam edges, but instead I measured everything out and hand cut it. So it turned out okay, but yeah. I also wanted to include a shelf for 3 reasons. I needed a place to put a power outlet. I wanted to protect kids if they walked into the back of the island with a hot barbecue, so they wouldn't touch the barbecue, and then also it hides the back of the barbecue. It gets dirty sometimes. And then for the concrete mold, I used a company called Concrete Countertop Solutions. They make a really good edge molding, plastic edge molding piece that comes in different styles, and it really creates a great edge to your pour-in-place countertops. And they also provide you with a fiber reinforced mesh with these plastic elevation tabs, and they also provide you with a powdered fiber reinforcement additive to the concrete, which really helps it give stability. And you can also make it really liquidy on the pores, and it helps fill in all the places. You can see I kind of secured them with concrete screws, put some duct tape to hold, cover up all the areas where the liquid concrete might fall through. And the idea is, once you've poured the concrete countertop and smoothed everything out, you let it dry for about 3 or 4 days, and then you pop off just this front piece of the edge molding, and what you're left with is a really smooth, perfect edge corner. mesh needs to actually be elevated in the middle of the concrete pour, so it shouldn't be laying on the bottom and it shouldn't be floating on the top. So that's what these little plastic tabs do. They kind of elevate this fiber mesh right in the middle of the pour. So here's pour day. Used about 9 bags of concrete. So you've got the water, the additive from the concrete solutions company, plus the sand topper concrete. Used about 8 or 9 bags, I think. I've got my wife helping me. You really want to cover the ground with plastic and paper because it gets really messy, because you're kind of taking a big long bar and you're kind of scraping off the excess off the top to get a nice, even, flat, fully filled surface, like you're filling a kind of a pool. The concrete does set up in about 20 minutes, where you need to actually grab your magnesium trowel and do kind of the first smoothing exercise on the concrete. And then about 20 or 30 minutes after that, you move to a metal trowel. It needs to be clean and kind of damp, and then you just keep monitoring it and making it as flat as possible. And then when you're mixing the concrete with you've got like a concrete paddle mixing attachment to the drill, make sure you grab the sides of the bucket with your legs, because that paddle mixer can kind of grab hold. If it's a dry mix, that bucket might go flying and you've got wet concrete flying all over the place, and it's really hard to clean up that concrete off of walls and floors. I ended up actually splitting each bag in half and mixing a half of a 60-pound bag of concrete inside one of those big box store buckets. So half bag plus the water and the additive is a perfect fit for those buckets. And then you definitely want to cover the project in light plastic so you don't get any bugs and leaves in it, and then it also helps cure the concrete. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see how the concrete turns out and what the LED lights and the skinning and the final product looks like. Thanks again.